Alright guys, I had a couple questions about off-grid stuff, what you can run, what you can't run, etc. So I thought I would just go ahead and take you through what I'm doing, and some basic setup. One thing I want to say before I even get started is that everybody's system is different. So I'm going to talk about my system and how it's set up, but there are lots of ways to do it. 12 volt, 24 volt, 48 volt, 120 inverters. Magnum has, I think, 120 and 240. Outback Radian is a 240. That Outback right there is 120. And if I did have another 120, I could stack it to make 240, but I don't need 240. So let's just do this. Let's go, do a quick recap of what this is, what you're looking at. And I'll start at the top and work my way across. So the upper right-hand corner, this guy here is the trimetric, basically a gas gauge. You got the Mate 2 right here. Yes, I know I need to get a Mate 3 one day. It'll happen. And two classic 150 charge controllers. And this is an Outback GVFX3524, and I'll talk about what the GV means. I'll talk about it now. It just means grid interactive. It could sell back. When I first got that inverter, the intention was to set it up to sell back. However, I decided not to do that, and I just turned off that option. So that's that. The gray box that it's mounted to is an E-panel. Think of it like a disconnect / breaker box. It's basically where everything comes into. All my solar comes in there and lands on breakers and comes back out to the charge controllers. The batteries are connected up there through a breaker. I have AC breakers on the left-hand side as well. So, like your one-stop shop for everything you need to shut the system down or wire things up, whatever. So, charge controller, this guy right here on the right, he's got 6 SolarWorld 340 watt panels on him. This guy here on the left has 3 LG 360 watt panels, grand total of 3,120 watts. The Outback inverter will basically pull the solar that these guys make to satisfy the loads. Like right now, if you look, let me see if I can zoom in there. Yeah, so right now we're supporting 300 watts, and it's buying, looks like 300 watts as well. So what does that mean? That means that the charge controllers are bringing in enough power to run some of the loads in this house. However, it's not enough. So it's not going to hit from the batteries because it's got, number one, it knows the grid's up, and it's got a 40 amp feed, coming into that inverter. So it's gonna basically, hey, I got 600 watts of load, I got 300 watts of solar. I'm going to use that solar to satisfy this load, and the other 300 I want to pull from the grid. That's pretty much it. A lot of people will size their solar to their inverter size. You don't have to do that. Chris out in Oklahoma, I'm going to use you as an example. What's up, buddy? I think he has 4,000 or 5,000 watts of solar, and his inverter is a VFX 3524. The only difference between that and mine is, I believe, in the software. He doesn't have the option to sell back, So I think, but basically that inverter is geared toward off-grid. Okay, so, but he has, I think, a 30 amp or something, or 40 amp feed going to his as well. So, but that's basically what it's doing. So as far as the 40 amp feed to mine, it's basically a piece of number 8. Your hot, your neutral, your ground. It comes out of my sub panel, comes across. Matter of fact, it's right there. I think it's that front one. Whoops. I think it's this guy right here. There's 2 of them. I think it's this guy. It lands in there basically lands in the E-panel, goes through a breaker, and it comes back out. And that's, I think, this guy here. It comes out to a sub panel, and I'll show you that sub panel in a minute when I show you the loads. It comes into the sub panel and basically runs that sub panel at 120 volts. So that's the recap, guys. That's how my system works at 24 volts. I do have a battery bank, which is right here. pardon the mess on the battery bank. It tends to collect things. 610 amp hours of battery bank. Cool basketball. They're 8 6-volt batteries, Concord sun extenders. They're the 3050Ts. Those suckers are heavy. I think they're 90 pounds a piece. Yeah, that proves that gravity is real. You pick one of those things up. Anyway, so they're all wired up into 2 strings of I got 2 strings of 4 in there, and I've got them paralleled and coming up through this big piece of MC or armored cable. Right, where is he? Here he is, right here, out the side, comes up. This EMT pipe here is the one that has the solar coming in. So there you go, guys. That's a system overview of what I have going on. So let me show you. I'm gonna focus on refrigeration right now. I'm gonna show you what a load of a fridge freezer. What your loads are, what kind of power it takes. I've got 2 of them. I've got a Frigidaire 26 cubic foot in the garage, and I have an LG, one of those dual linear compressor ones in the kitchen, and I think he's a 27.8. So they're roughly the same size. Now I've had a kilowatt hour meter on them for a few days, and you're going to be surprised of what you see. And keep in mind, if you're off grid, you need to know what your appliances use. Okay, so let me show you. I'll show you the Frigidaire first, since it's right over here, and we'll go into the kitchen. We'll take a look at the LG. All right, guys. So what we're looking at is the kilowatt hour meter. The fridge is right here, right there. So right now it's running a cycle and it's pulling not even an amp. Wattage 112 watts, and yes, this is a timer. If I slide the switch this way, what it will basically do is it will run all day while there's solar, and about, I think it's 10:30 at night, it'll shut off, and then at 6 o'clock in the morning it'll come back on. So let's take a look and see. It's pulled 4.6 kilowatt hours in 67 hours. So not even 3 days. So 2.5 days. We'll say 2.5 days. 4.63 kW. So we'll go into the kitchen and we'll have a look. I'll give you a hint. It's going to be higher. So I was actually pretty surprised by this. But yeah, guys, as far as timers, these timers are pretty cheap. I think you can get them at Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever. Oh, okay, it must be making ice. There is an ice maker in this thing. So, and the settings I have on the fridge are 6 degrees on the freezer and 38 on the refrigeration. So it's not cranked up full blast. But let's go in the kitchen and have a look. All right, guys. So I pulled the refrigerator out, and it's actually running a cycle. And this thing is pulling 2 amps. 159 watts. 6.66 kilowatt hours. Ugh. So that's basically, what was that, double? Yeah, 67 hours. So this guy is a pig. This is the timer I have. This is one of those digital timers. I couldn't find any more of those cheap analog ones. I prefer those because there's a battery in here and I don't like using that, but it'll do for now. But yeah, 67 hours pulling 2.10 amps. Alright, sorry, 2.12, yeah, going back and forth. Yeah, that's a lot of power. That thing is just, he's a pig. So I would definitely, if I was running this thing off grid, I would definitely activate that timer. Basically would run it from say 6:30 in the morning, and at 10:30 I'd shut this thing down, keep the doors closed. It's probably that computer. It's just, if it goes down like a half a degree, it just runs a cycle. So alright, let's go back out and we'll have a look at the loads and see what's in that sub panel. Alright, guys, so this is the sub panel that the Outback inverter runs. Let me show you what we got here. You have 3 pieces of conduit. The one in the middle is a 1-inch where the number 8 CSA SO cable from the Outback inverter comes in. It's the same type of cable that comes out of the sub panel from the 40 amp breaker to feed the Outback, so it's the same stuff. What it does, it comes in and lands on the left hand side, then I got a jumper coming across to the other side to heat up the entire box. The two other conduits you see are 3/4 inch, and what's running in there is this stuff here. This is basically, you can buy this on a spool at Home Depot or Lowe's. I think it's 150 feet or something like that. It's number 12, Romex is what it is. So I've got 4 in each one. The 4 on the left are 20 amp circuits, and the 4 on the right are 15 amp circuits. That's how I can tell the difference. And when I brought them in, I just tagged them. So that's that. So let's go through these circuits. A couple things I want to say ahead of time, guys, is keep in mind this house was built in the 70s, early 70s. So there is stuff piled on top of each other, and it doesn't make any sense. So just keep that in mind. Number 2, this house has a flat roof. So for all you contractor folk out there, you know what that means. If you're going to do a rewire, ceilings are coming down, and so are some of the walls. So I wasn't going that route, so I just did the best I could. I was able to run 3 dedicated circuits because the panel, the main sub panel, which is about 4 feet, 3 feet to the right, is about a foot away from this hallway, which is you can access that in the attic. So what I did was we cut a 2x2 hole, and I was able to fish in some dedicated circuits, like one for the furnace, and plus the dedicated circuit for the microwave and the fridge. So we'll go ahead and we'll go through this here. Number 1 is all the plugs in the garage. Number 2 is the dedicated kitchen fridge. Number 3 is a dedicated chest freezer, which is right behind me. Number 4 is a microwave circuit, dedicated as well. Number 5 and 6, those breakers look a little different. Those are what's called arc fault breakers. There's 4 bedrooms in this house, and that's where they land. Number 7 is the garage lighting. Now, this garage has been worked on. Previous owner of the house did this. He must have insulated it or did something, I don't know. But anyway, he put in new drywall, because there's a piece of drywall here in this far corner that doesn't match up, so it's got to be, another way. He probably ripped it all out and did something, who knows. I know there was some plumbing done, so maybe that's what it was too. But anyway, I know he insulated number I had to do a patch, and the insulation was newer. So number 7, garage lighting, and not only the garage lighting, but the TV in the living room, as well as a hallway receptacle. Number 8 is the kitchen lighting and the bathrooms. So that's what I'm running, guys. Now, what did I not bring over? I did not bring over the dishwasher, the disposal, anything 240, which is a dryer or an air conditioner. Those stayed. There are 3 circuits for the office. I did not bring those over. There's an outside and a furnace. I'm sorry, outside receptacle and a furnace. Did not bring those over. And there's one other circuit, which it's half of a wall. I would like to bring that over, but in order to do it, I'd have to put a tandem 15 in to do it, and that would be 9 circuits this box. Could it handle it? Yes, but it's one of those want to have. I don't really need it, so probably won't do it. But if I ever expand this box, to get, like, say a 12 or a 20 slot panel, then I'll do it. Let's see what else. I think that's it, guys. This thing's running great. This is more than enough for me. I've got lighting in every room. I've got a ceiling fan in every room. They're covered too. The microwave's on here. All of the refrigeration is on here. So, it's pretty straightforward. Now, let's just say power were to go out, and could I run the furnace in the winter time? Well, the furnace pulls, if I remember right, 5 or 6 amps. Yeah, I probably could, as long as there was gas going to it. So yeah, I could probably do that. I could probably just do something temporary, just bring it over, because it's on a 15 amp circuit. But that's about it, guys. you know, that's my setup. That's how I run it. It works great for me. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to do a video on the internet stuff. Oh, I'll go back to that. The internet stuff used to be in the office, you know, the modem and the router. I moved that out to the garage because I wanted those on the off-grid stuff, but I didn't want to bring the office over. So I made some room, and like I said, I'll do a video. Made some room. I put them in here, and then I put a kilowatt hour meter on there because I thought they were going to be really bad energy pigs, and actually it's not as bad as I thought. But I'll show you that in that video. So that's it for now, guys. Hope everybody's doing good. Have a good one. Take care.